Have you ever tried telling a wall a story and you're making it up really fast as you go along? You're playing soccer more, or football as they call it there. Hey, are you listening? Are you getting what I'm saying? You're not understanding anything I'm saying, dude. Come on. Yeah, me neither. Today we're gonna be writing a book in 24 hours. But first, we're gonna have to make a brainstorming corner. As I sit here in the brainstorming corner, I'm trying to think, what kind of book is this book gonna be? Like, what genre? How small or big is this book gonna be? I was thinking, because I only have 24 hours, I could write a kid's book, but I think you need to be a doctor to do that. Okay, so I think this story is gonna be a short story in the wilderness or outdoors, and it's gonna be realistic. That's the main thing. It could be like, so it's gonna be like a realistic fiction kind of thing. The reason why I chose that type of story is because yeah, it's easy. Okay, so now we have the actual genre of the book, but to think of the real storyline and outline, I think we need to go outside, somewhere with more space, you know, to unlock those inner thoughts, dude. Yeah. It's already like 11 a.m., so we kind of gotta get on going with this book. Alright, we've arrived at the park. Let's get cracking. Okay, we're here. I'm gonna try to think of like a one-sentence idea for the story. I'm just gonna look around at random things and try to pick up like a sentence for like a broad idea for a story. Yeah, I was literally about to say a tree talking would be a good premise for a story, but then I realized like this book is a huge book. It's a good read though if you haven't read it. It's not my idea, so... Okay, wait, I just thought of like an idea. Okay, so the idea is that there's an invisible boundary in this country where selected people cannot leave the country. And basically throughout the book, they try to figure out why they have an invisible barrier and they can't leave the country. Which, now that I think about it, really, really stupid. Yeah. Wait, bushes. Everyone in this world is a bush, but they all know that they used to be humans. Thinking back on that story, I mean, I probably just thought about it because I knew there's gonna be a lot of jokes to be made about a bush, puns, and about George Bush, and some pubic hair jokes, so there's really no storyline there. Soccer ball, inflatable soccer balls, inflatable soccer ball. Okay, I have a good idea here. Wait, that's an amazing idea. Like, not amazing, but way better than the other one. Okay, I'm gonna tell you what the idea is.
Pause for effect.
It's an inflatable soccer ball, but every time someone kicks it, it grows bigger. And also, this ginormous inflatable ball has a kid living in it who nobody knows how he lives in it without food and water. And so the premise of the story is they can't get the kid out of the ball and they want to get him out. I see the storyline filling out in my head. I'm gonna start writing the story and we'll finish it up here. Okay, the book's done, and now the last thing we need to do is build the actual hardcover book, or soft. I don't know if I can figure out how to do hardcover. It is currently 11 a.m., which means that the 24-hour challenge is over. So now all we have to do is just read the thing. Why'd I do that? Okay, let's read a book. I'm holding in my hands the final book. It's called Life in a Nutshell. Chapter 1, Life in the Nutshell. Hi, I'm Tom, said Tom in an echoey voice. I couldn't hear Tom quite that well through the ginormous ball he was in. Did I forget to mention that he was in a ginormous soccer ball? He is, by the way. This ginormous soccer ball is designed with black and white patterns like many others. However, on this ball, instead of some parts of the ball being white, they're transparent, allowing us to see inside the ball and communicate to Tom. Tom lives in the ball, not by choice, but not by any other reason either. One of the 8 wonders in our world is why Tom is stuck in that ball. I think I meant to say wonders of our world, not in our world, but why is he still alive with that limited amount of oxygen? And how is he surviving with no food or water? Many have speculated Tom is an alien, but he insists he isn't. My relationship with Tom is a close one, and he told me in secret that he himself doesn't know if he's an alien or extraterrestrial creature. In truth, he can't remember anything that happened to him before the age of 6. Tom is the same age as me, 8. We have similar personalities. I love Tom, but sometimes I can't relate to life inside the ball sack. Apart from me, Tom really doesn't have any friends, and he's constantly ridiculed. People look down on Tom and see him as a spectacle, not a friend or equal. If Tom was just a spectacle, I think he'd love that. The problem is, Tom is an international spectacle. People come from all over the world to see the ball, which is famous all over the world. This is hurtful to Tom, who can't control how many people intrude on his privacy every day. People actually think they're helping Tom because every time someone kicks the ball actually grows a bit. This is another unexplainable phenomenon, and it was really helpful to Tom's survival. Tom's ball is huge now, 1 mile in radius to be exact. And he doesn't really need any more space. He says no matter how big the ball will be, he will never feel any less trapped. Many of the parents in our village compliment me. They seem to think I take pity in Tom, and that's why I hang around with him. I tell people all the time, the reason why I spend time with Tom is because he's a great friend. I don't pity Tom, I just wish I could fix the situation. I wish I could do something, or change something. My marks in school are below average at best. However, I've displayed an excellence in my science classes since a young age. Science teachers all over Germany talk about my future. Things don't look too bad for me. Chapter 2, 15 years later. As I had mentioned before, my academic projections were high. However, I hit even larger targets. At 23 years of age, I have just received my PhD in chemical engineering from the University of Cambridge. After hosting an intimate party with close family and friends in my 3-bedroom apartment, I laid in bed and let my thoughts wander? Question mark? I know I got into chemical engineering to pursue something bigger than where I was right now. I didn't want a mundane job of helping to monitor some company's chemical engineering branch. I wanted something else. After 6 months of training with Nice Ass, I was ready to be an engineer. I helped develop the model for a rocket that would fly to the moon in 1816. Just a year from right now, we reached the moon safely with my spotless engineering and wandered there for a total of 2 weeks. After collecting as many things as we could, we prepared to leave. We were done exploring. Before leaving, they allowed us to have a little stroll on the moon. It was nice to have some time to myself with no task, just pure elation. Ouch! The left boot of my suit was cut open and oxygen was leaving swiftly. I screamed desperately into the radio, "Help!" I made it safely back to the rocket on one of the crew members' cars and was able to breathe again. What I did mention to my crewmates was what kind of rock I had stepped on. It was green and excessively sharp. I inspected it carefully and it looked like a very concentrated element that is usually found as a gas. I carefully stored it in one of the ship's plastic bags and sealed it. The second I sealed the bag, air started to blow out of the rocket at an alarming rate. I quickly and carefully opened the bag and let the air out before it popped. I named the new element Tomonium, after my old friend Tom. I studied Tomonium for the next year and I headed back to my home village, Gutentachen, with some really good news in mind. Before even greeting my family, I headed straight to the village square where Tom was situated. Tom was on his knees and he looked like he had been crying a lot lately. "Tom, I've made an extraordinary discovery." He replied. "No, seriously, listen. I know why you're stuck in there." His facial expression shifted to eagerness as he listened closely to every word I said. "Your ball is filled with tomonium, an element I found on the moon. I showed him the rock I found. Although in your ball, it's in the form of gas. In my hand is a very concentrated amount of it. Ever since I've been around it, I haven't needed oxygen, food, or water. Sounds familiar?" Tommy raised his eyebrows. "You mean to tell me that..." The city shook at the explosion. When I touched the rock to the ball, the gas tried desperately to escape the ball as it was repelled by the strong positive charge of the rock. I looked over at Tom, and he was smiling in total bliss. The end. And that's it for part 1. To get part 2, just go to Amazon/ Yeah. Technically, this is a published book since this is on a published YouTube video. Call me J.K. Rowling because I'm a woman. Author. But leave your comments down below on what you thought of the book. I'll take an honest opinion here and there. I will see all of you soon. Thank you for watching. Bye.